Hey, guess what? We're live.
Hey, guess what? It's Thursday night. It's Jess the Sky Kid. We're at the B&B. I keep switching that up. I swear to God, every week. I have a knight of the round table with me.
Gift points.
And on the phone this evening, we have Kyle, Rick, and Nick from the Sketchballs. Welcome.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey,
Go on.
hello.
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 Okay, how about introductions? Would you like to each introduce yourself and then tell us what it is you do in the group?
Sure. I'm Rick Hansen. I play guitars, vocals, and occasionally other instruments as needed.
Hi, I'm Nick Nutter. I am the drummer. I do backing vocals and stunts, I guess.
I'm Kyle. I play bass. That's about it.
You set this up.
Yes, he did.
Yeah. You don't just play bass.
Sorry.
So, let's recap. Because what? It's been... I mean, you've done shows under Just the Ska Kid as far as, like, out and about. But what? It's been, like, a year or so since we've had you?
I think it was 2 years almost exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Time has flown, and since last talking with you guys, I mean, we've gotten to watch you at a bunch of shows. You've done Punk Fest. You have this new album out now. So let's just kind of dive right in there. You released in October Roller Derby, which is this new album, yes?
Correct.
Great. So how long did it take you to put that together? How did this album come to be? And, you know, who did it, I guess, as far as recording?
Well, it was recorded at Blast House Studios in Madison, and the engineer is a guy named Landon Arkins, who did our last EP, River West. And we really liked what he did on River West, so we gave Landon another shot, and we were pretty happy with the results. The album itself, there are songs up there that go way back, and there are songs on there that were kind of created as we were getting together and thinking, heck, you know, we should do an album. We should get at least 10 songs together. And they're really, it reflects the contribution of all of us. Kyle is really, if either Kyle or Nick want to speak, I will pass the mic to them when they're ready. But Kyle is really the primary lyricist. There are occasional lyrical contributions from myself, and again, this is Rick speaking. But there was a lot of collaborative effort going on, and we kind of had this theme that we want to do the Sketchballs do 70s rock. So, you know, you listen to it, and I don't think it sounds exactly like a 70s rock album or anything like that. Not that there's one thing that 70s rock albums sound like, but it was just sort of, you know, that was like the loose theme that we had, and we were just thinking like, okay, what sounds like some kind of weird 70s theme? You know, we're like, hey, roller derby, you know, it's like something that's, you know, kitsch but not kitsch, that's, you know, lo-fi but not too lo-fi. And it let us explore all these different directions and all these different dimensions. And there's a little nod to all these various musical styles that were prominent in the 70s in there. And you know, I'd say listen for them next time you give it a listen.
I would have to agree that this new album, like we played on Tuesday, Truck Stop Dolomite, and oh my gosh, like that is just super funky and like it's a real groovy tune. And it featured horns, which I love.
Yeah.
So talk about how that came to be.
That song, Kyle, that was about 2 or 3 years ago. Kyle brought that bass line to the band and said, this thing is got to be like some kind of Superfly song. And he had the whole, like, basically the lyrics are the lyrics that are there in the present track. And he's like, no, this will be kind of a Superfly thing. And I was like, okay, you know, just picture this. And it's based off, well, I don't know if you want to speak to this, Kyle, but it's based off someone he actually saw. So that song is, I witnessed a business transaction late at night at a truck stop. And that's kind of how the songs came about. It sounded like this 1970s Curtis Mayfield bass progression or whatever. And then Nick put the beat down, and then Rick's guitar kind of with the Telecaster just gave it more of the country type sound.
And how did the horns get added in there?
The horns, my friend Pete Ralph, who's the guy that I work with, he graduated with a music degree from UW Whitewater, and he plays trumpet and trombone, and he was kind of like a one-man horn section. I asked him if he wanted to be on the record. He lives in Madison, so it just kind of worked out, and
When did you guys enter the studio to start recording Roller Derby?
You want to take this one?
Yeah. So we did the first 5 songs in January. Can't remember exactly which ones those were on the album. So we did half the album in January, and then we were going to go back in May. But, of course, things changed in between there. So we ended up having to reschedule for July. So we did half the album in January and half of it in July.
So speak to this, because you then started something in the midst of what then became this pandemic. Obviously in January you were allowed to show up, play, whatever. How different was it going back into the studio in July, and were you able to all go together? Did you have to socially distance, wear a mask, one at a time record, or how did that work?
Well, at the studio, Rick and Kyle were in isolation booths recording their parts, and I was on the floor playing drums.
Okay.
The main studio, and we were all wearing masks except for vocals. Which I think you were the only one that cut vocals up there, Rick. Okay, yeah, he's saying yeah. So basically we and Landon is very strict about the protocols, like masks on if you're even going to walk in the studio, like everything. It's like you can't be near the mixing board because you have to distance, like everything. And I appreciate that because there's not a lot of people that take things seriously enough. So that was kind of a comfort, actually.
Yeah, speaking of not taking things seriously enough, how has this whole shutdown, not shutdown, I would say, for Wisconsin impacted you all in regards to playing?
Well, good solid, because me and Rick are both in the Night Owls as well. We didn't play together for at least, 2-3 months? Yeah, it's like the longest I've gone in years without being at a band practice.
Wow.
Kind of weird. And we had a gig scheduled, so we had to cancel, I'm sure. I think it was in March. Was it March or April?
The Night Owls, I think, was... Oh, sorry. Yeah, I remember I'm violating the no talking over each other thing.
You're okay.
Night Owls was, I'm pretty sure, in March, and that was right when the pandemic hit that we had to cancel it.
Yeah.
And there was a Sketchballs gig we were going to do up in Appleton initially in April. And then that kept getting pushed back and back and back. We were going to play with the Royal Blue, who are an Appleton band.
Yes.
Yeah, all right, yes. Yeah, but it kept getting pushed back and back, and then it's just like, this is not going to happen. So it's been very interesting. It's been hard getting together. We're one of the things that we're trying to do. I don't know if get into too many other questions, but one of the things we're going to be trying to do in the next month or so, if we can, is a virtual gig.
Ooh.
Where we'll play in an empty auditorium and record it and put it on our YouTube channel and put it out in all the various digital formats that we can. And it's been so hard just being able to get together to practice because I have a young child and her school district's a very small school district, and they're actually going in person.
Mm-hmm.
And her class has been quarantined a couple of times. And it's like, okay, we got to shut everything down. I can't do anything this week. She's sick. This, that, or the other thing. And it's just this whole elaborate waltz around the virus that, no one ever had to do before. But it's interesting because I've noticed myself, I spend a lot more time noodling with the guitar, and I probably have, I have more time to noodle with it because I probably would do that if I had the time anyway. And I probably have, at least 100 riffs that are just recorded in little iPhone memos and stuff. And, so there's this whole kind of creative, there's this, what's the word I'm looking for? This undercurrent of creativity. I think that's underlies the whole crisis, I suppose.
So, Rick, and all of you, Nick and Kyle, are you guys afforded the opportunity to work from home, or do you have positions that also require that you go out and go to work?
I am very fortunate to teach at a university, and I've had to go out sometimes, but all of my classes are being done hybrid. And the UW system for whom I teach now has everything exclusively distance learning, online for the rest of the semester. So I've been lucky that way. Anybody else want to speak to their experience?
I actually do go to work in person. It's a smaller place, but there's a lot of room inside of it. There's not a lot of employees,
Mm-hmm.
but there's a giant space, so we can spread out a bunch. But it'd be nice if some of my coworkers would wear masks. That'd be nice.
So do you work in a place that's it's optional?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Science is optional too, as is God.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, of all of the things that are optional, like, science, the earth being round, celestial beings that control our existence,
Yeah.
How about you, Kyle? Are you in or out of work, or what has this experience, these, I don't know, last, almost 9 months taught us? It's like been a whole pregnancy, this COVID thing.
Pretty much. No, I work in the restaurant industry, so I'm very much exposed, and I actually had the pleasure of having COVID myself.
Oh.
Yeah, so that was fabulous. But thankfully, it wasn't too serious in my case. But you'd be amazed at how many people don't give a shit that go into restaurants and bars about the masks, and it's kind of silly actually.
It's not even, for me, it's not even the mask thing. My thing is this. Either you're sick and or you've been around someone who's sick and and you just don't care. And so you're not doing what you have to responsibly as a protective factor, which is helping kind of move this thing to where it is. I do find it interesting that Rick gets to work from home, but his kid has to go to school.
Well, Rick lives a charmed life.
but how messed up is that though? Like, here, little kids, maybe go get sick and die, or bring it home to a family member who could. The rest of us, fend for yourself. Kyle, I'm sorry to hear that you were ill. I'm guessing that put a little bit of strain on the band. How long were you down for?
Well, when you actually get it, then you kind of have to start dealing with the local health department and the state department. So even when you start to feel that, there's, these dates that they give you where, okay, at this date you're able to go out and go back to like a store or something, but you can't be around people or go back to work. And then, a few days later, then you can go back to work. It's all very confusing.
Yeah.
But the question, I was out for a good two weeks.
So out of that 2 weeks, you were sick, would you say, for how long? Were you down the whole 2 weeks? Did you feel like shit? Like, give us some insight, brother.
I felt the worst on the very first day that I actually got tested. I had a fever and a headache and everything. But I didn't get my results. So then the next day I woke up and the headache was gone, the fever was down. So I'm like, all right, I'm feeling better. It's probably, and then I found out I had it. And then after that, it was more or less, it kind of felt like a chest cold for 2 days. But the thing that really gets your attention is that I had no energy for good 7 days. Like, I couldn't sit through a movie without falling asleep. I don't know. It was it's what people describe, I don't know, to be like is kind of what I felt like.
That's what I've heard the most as the most common symptom, which they're not highlighting enough, is the extreme fatigue. It's like that across. You know how they like list the symptoms? That should be number one, is like extreme chronic fatigue, and then you can touch base on all the other things. I'm glad you're better.
Yeah, well, thank you. I am too.
I'm sure. With that being said, after you guys, so Safer at Home in Wisconsin started in March, and then come April, there was an extension, which everybody then said that's unconstitutional, and we opened back up in May. Within that time then, you had 2 months, you went back to the studio. When did you feel comfortable engaging with each other to start practice again? Was it before or after you started finishing recording?
I think, we stayed away from each other for quite a while, and then it was kind of like, well, at the time, Rick, I think you were actually going into school. You weren't shut down. Oh, maybe you were. Anyway, all of our families, I guess, had to go to work, our group. So, I had to go to work, Nick had to go to work, and Rick's wife, I think, had to leave the house to go to work. So, we kind of thought, well, I guess we can give it a try and see how it goes. And, because what are you going to do? I mean, I guess there's so many extremes. Some people don't care at all. Some people have locked themselves in the basement or whatever. So,
I do have a coworker who has kind of done that. She's not gone anywhere. All her groceries are delivered to her. She's not gone to a restaurant or out to anywhere. She's run to the liquor store because they can't deliver alcohol with her groceries, and that's it.
Okay, well, yeah, I mean, I know some people that are kind of like that too, that are sanitizing their groceries, but I mean, I guess it's just what everybody's comfortable with. After what, go nuts because like band practice, wow, we'll get something to look forward to, but you really can't do anything else.
Right.
But these guys aren't, hanging on the bar till 2 a.m. and just doing dumb shit. So.
When do you think, because Wisconsin has kind of a free-for-all attitude, when do you guys feel comfortable going back and playing in public? And is that something you're considering moving forward, since it would seem nobody does give a fuck and you can go do what you want?
Well, that's a two-way street too, because if you play a gig, then you have to make the Facebook events and do all that. So once you post that, half your friends are going to be like, yeah, screw wearing masks and all that, and the other half are going to be, what the hell are you doing playing a gig? There's a pandemic.
Right.
You can't win either way on social media. So as of now, I don't think we're planning on playing any actual real gigs anytime soon. No.
Okay. Do you have, I've asked this of almost everyone who's been on the show, because really everybody else who has been on the show, everything is still shut down. And so they find it amazing that I'm like, when do you think it'll be okay to play? They're like, I don't fucking know. People are dying. So when do where is your comfort level? When do you think it would be safe to go out and play again? Are we waiting for the almighty government to tell us it's okay to play with our friends again?
This is Rick speaking again. I personally, it's not a matter of any force greater than us, but other than the virus, and I think I would personally be comfortable once there are vaccines widely in place and once the numbers are way down. I don't spend a lot of time in public. I mean, the campus where I was teaching, like when we were teaching in person, everything's masked, everything's distanced, and I see it any other way until there's reliable hard data that this thing is actually in retreat pretty heavily and pretty safely. Myself, I don't know when that will be.
No one does. And
yeah, exactly.
I hate to burst everybody's bubble, but since we're on the topic, stop looking at this vaccine that they want to inject you with as this miracle thing. Let's go back. Years and years of scientific data has shown that you have to have years of trials before a vaccine can actually be effective and not make you green, blue, sterile, die, etc. So in this culture that is so rushed and entitled that they want everything the minute they dial it up, I'm very leery and hesitant of these vaccines that they want to then impart on people.
No, I completely agree with that. I would want to look at the hard data, and I'd want to see the research and the actual trials going up to it. And while I believe that I think here we are basically on lovely philosophical points. So thank you for engaging me on that, Jess.
Yes, you're welcome, Rick. I knew you wanted to talk.
Oh yes. I would say personally that I don't know. Even if other sorts of vaccines might spend some years in development, if they've done sufficient trials in a slightly more compressed time, I might be more comfortable with it. But I would definitely want to see the hard data and know that some sort of long-term results were in place. That, as you said, to make sure that the cure was not worse than the illness.
Right. I do, speaking of philosophical, but also historical content, to I guess, push forward on a positive note, we did have the plague that humanity overcame without a vaccine. So, my friends, keep shoving your pockets full of posies, and we will eventually get over this.
Yes, one way or the other, whether it takes a couple hundred years or not.
I mean, it's hard. So, we rely on the musicianship and art industry as a way of entertainment. And it's, I think, been both a positive and negative to be able to continue to do this, because we continue to be able to talk to folks like you and see what you're doing and safely provide entertainment. But as the same token, it lacks that emotional connectedness, which I think is so important with what arts are. So moving forward, if this thing doesn't change, I'm almost considering bands can play in the garage and people can stand in the driveway, and then it's safe enough to do.
Yeah, smallish gatherings with outdoor spaces like that. I completely agree. I mean, that's what we did for our recording for you. We were lucky. It was 70 degrees a couple of Sundays ago, so
yes.
We all went out. I played and we're like, hey, let's try it. So
it looked really good. I mean, in that same token, with us, we've had to continue to ask, how are we going to change this? And that could be one of them. If they're close enough-ish, we could do that on a weekend where we go record them at their home in their garage and we're outside. Mm-hmm. So, we'll see as this progresses how this show will continue to change to meet the needs of society, I guess.
Yes. Well, we go ahead.
No, go on.
That's...
Oh. Their call dropped. Call failure, it says on my phone.
Oh.
Uh-oh. Dude.
There it is.
Hello, you've reached Jess the Ska Kid.
Hello.
What happened?
I don't know. The phone simply cut out.
The government said, fuck you in your gatherings, you're not allowed, and shut that shit down. Okay. Enough about all of the horrible. How have you guys, as a band, adapted to continue to promote your music? That was a full, well thought out thesis question.
Yeah. My personal thesis answer, and if Nick and Kyle want to speak to this too, is what we've done is we've just given you an album, first of all. And second of all, to promote that album, we're putting big parts of it on making videos and putting them on YouTube, and the virtual gig video, and then of course a wonderful outlet like this podcast. So obviously the whole notion of going out and playing gigs to promote your album is a thing of not right now.
Oh,
I guess. But
I have another question. So
Sure.
the last time you were here and I was all like, rah, rah, rah. Don't use a distributor. And utilize other podcasts like us. Have you guys started to explore those avenues? Have you decided to start here, listen to my album, here, listen to my album, or it's just so new yet you haven't gotten to do that yet?
I think the latter, unless Kyle wants to say anything more to it, because Kyle's kind of the managerial mechanism of the band, but I don't know if you want to speak to that at all.
Yeah, with the last album we did a few of those kind of things. So we got to say, or I have to say, Jess, your show is probably the best because you ask us not the usual questions, the standard, what's your influence and who do you like and all that. So we like being on your show. You talk about.
I can connect you with other people who probably would do the same thing in different forms, all male. But yeah, Kyle, we'll connect after this because a lot of our connection has expanded since COVID has started.
Okay.
So
Great.
I'll shoot you a list of people and what the podcast is after so that you can, send people your music.
Okay, great. Yeah, that's awesome.
With that kind of being said, though, are you... Bandcamp, because I know you're on Bandcamp, has done this, every Friday thing. They're waiving their fees for bands, and so they're allowed to collect on all of the revenue that comes in. Have you guys considered doing this? Have you done this? Well, I mean, I know October was only a couple weeks ago, so I'm asking you a lot of poignant now questions. But do you have merch, and have you considered utilizing that platform to generate some revenue for your group?
No. I haven't considered it, actually. This time is different for us as a band because, I kind of tell people that this band is kind of like my bowling night. It was all about fun. Fun for us is writing and recording songs and going and playing shows. The video thing was always back burner because it seemed more like a nuisance, even though Logic will tell you can reach more people with a video than you do playing to 10 tweakers at quarters or extra. So it doesn't make sense. You get more exposure in that regard, but so yeah, we just put a video out for Truck Stop Dolomite on our YouTube page, and our YouTube page, I didn't do anything with it for 2 years. Mm-hmm. Until COVID, and now it's we gotta promote it somehow. So
yeah, I don't know. I feel like that's going to be the avenue that bands have to utilize to adapt to continue to spread that message. So I've noticed that your page now or your YouTube channel has more activity because it pops up regularly with my notifications. And so with those videos that you sent me for the second half, I'm also going to post the new Truck Stop Dolomite video that you just released.
All right.
So that people have some, a pool to pull from. Did you take my advice, or did you use a distributor again?
Wait, what? That was a question?
It was a question. Did you take my advice the last time you were here in regards to maintaining your rights and royalties?
Right.
Or did you use a distributor again?
Okay.
We haven't put it up on like Spotify or any of that other stuff yet.
You said you haven't? Don't do it. Jesus.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ! Don't do it. Did you say you haven't yet?
Yeah, we have.
We have not.
Wonderful. Don't do it. Don't do it. So, with your Bandcamp, okay, go ahead, and also then I would encourage you to post that onto Spotify, and then you need to go submit that to colleges, local radio stations, and underground podcasts as a way to help generate metadata. And, as you guys are already starting to do, utilize YouTube as that platform for a visual content to help boost it as well. Don't use a distributor, god damn it. I want to start a revolution, if anything, to get rid of the middleman that is CD Baby, DistroKid, TuneCore, blah, blah, blah. They're going to drop our call again. Because musicians really get fucked over on so many levels, and it's just like, okay, take my money and fuck me in the ass. Like, I guess if you're okay with that, that's fine, but I'm about starting a revolution where we're self-sufficient and can maintain ourselves.
Yeah.
So, anyways, I digress again. So when you recorded your album, with the tracks, were they also mixed and mastered and then provided to you, or were they given to you after recording and then you had to find somebody to mix and master them?
Actually, mixing was really easy because Landon did a lot of it on the fly. I think he's really good at getting the levels right. And then we went in, me and Kyle went in at the end, and it was like, an hour and a half, 2 hours? We had the thing pretty much done.
Yeah, right. But do the levels.
Yeah, we like had a few notes after he had like given us a pretty much final mix, and we tweaked a few things. And actually, I had done backing vocals like an hour before we mixed that, and like the whole thing was 2.5 hours. And we also sequenced the tracks that day. It was like a really good, really quick, efficient, and well done process.
That's great. So then you possess those tracks, yeah?
Yeah.
And you're able to then go and do with them what you would like?
Yep.
Wonderful. Great. So then the list I give you will make it even more relevant. So, don't drop the ball. Follow up. With this video that just came out, who recorded you, or did you guys do that yourselves, or how do these music videos come to be? And will there be any other music videos after Truck Stop Dolomite?
I'm gonna let Kyle answer this one.
Hey, Kyle.
How we did the video, it was just old footage of us playing. Everything was shot pretty much on my phone. I didn't have a elaborate camera or anything. And then we just used the studio, the MP3 track from studio to, and I just kind of put a bunch of things together, and it wasn't really a whole lot to it, and did it with iMovie.
Okay. So, Kyle, you're doing all of this, huh?
I'm in the process of learning how to do all this right now. So
That's great.
COVID. Otherwise, I would not even be bothering with this. I wouldn't care about videos so much, but now it's kind of you're forced into it.
So, will there be anything else after this one?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. Already thinking of ideas.
Do you think that you will try to incorporate or seek out, say, graphic design or anybody who does videography as a way to expand that knowledge base and or conceptualize a collaborative music video?
You know, I started looking into that. The UWM has a film department. There's people who make videos around town, and just they didn't give me the answers that I wanted to hear. And you kind of ask, well, ballpark, what is this going to cost? And then they start talking about crews and all this stuff, and then I kind of get scared off. So it's like I just got to learn how to do this myself, at least right now. I think we probably come up looking pretty douchey if we tried to make like a real flashy video, like a Lady Gaga type thing that tried to make us look cool. Or, younger than we are, that kind of thing.
Oh my God. What you need to do for the next video, and I don't know what song it would be for, you all need to agree that you're going to go buy leggings and cut off t-shirts and get crazy 80s hair metal wigs and wear makeup. There you go. See?
Okay.
Who thought that was a good idea? You laughed. It was a good idea.
Well, that would be kind of funny.
It'd be really fun, wouldn't it? It'd be ridiculous, but it would be like that level of ridiculous that would help just draw attention, I guess.
Yeah, definitely.
Or you could do like the Sketchball. Here's an idea. Are you ready? You got to write a new song called the Sleazeballs. The Sketchballs play the Sleazeballs, and you're both like your alter egos where you're like dirty whores as like male prostitutes in back alleys as the video.
I don't know if anybody would believe us as male prostitutes.
That's the genius of it. If Kyle, you walked around with a red sequined mini skirt and like a silver crop top, and you were just like wearing boots that weren't tied, and you're like, hey, people would think it was great. You pick your bass up behind a fucking dumpster and you just start playing to the rats? Come on, man.
Yeah, that's
Pretty well thought out.
correct. The next.
Can I help? I think it'd be fun.
Hey, seriously, do you know people who in the Kenosha, whatever area, that kind of do DIY video directing?
We do. His name's Tony Schultz, and he does Two Fat Guys on the Internet, or Talking to Myself, or TTM. He's also the lead singer of The Scraps. So yes, we do know people who do that.
Yeah, I think I'm Facebook friends with Tony. He's in phrenology too, right?
Correct.
Okay, yeah, I know who he is.
Wonderful. Yes, he does a lot. He's done several bands that have been on our show. He's done their music videos. So he's down if you're down to collaborate.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wonderful. I'm glad that we could talk all of these things out this evening.
Yeah.
Okay, merchandise. Do you guys have merchandise yet?
We have T-shirts and we have stickers.
Are you low? Do you have enough to give away? What's it look like as far as if people are interested and they are listening, watching this broadcast? Are you fully well equipped to handle any sort of rush need?
We have a lot of them. Unfortunately, it's the sizes are kind of a problem. Like, we're all out of large shirts. It's all XL and double X's that we have. It seems everybody wears large.
It's football season, so hey, this might just be the time to market those. Eat your cheese puffs and wear a Sketchball shirt. Wipe the cheese dust on the shirt. Sorry.
Yep, we do have some merch.
I miss the in-person, you guys. I do. Okay, so now that you've released this and we're looking at another long, dark winter, who knows when we'll be able to come out of hibernation, what are the goals of your group?
You guys want that one?
So that's interesting. We don't have a mission statement necessarily, or a.
Rick.
Yeah, we're definitely, our next big thing on the horizon is a virtual gig. That, you know, like I said, where we're in a theater and we just film it and put it out on YouTube for people. And just maybe have like little snippets where we talk about the album in between the songs and things like that. So just, you know, something that would be hopefully fun and entertaining for folks. And then I would like to realize some of this collection of 100 plus riffs into songs. We're starting to write some new songs and things like that.
Wonderful.
And there's a loose idea floating around there. And so you mentioned all these videos that sound very 80s to me. And we have this loose idea floating around where if this album was the Sketchballs doing 70s rock, the next one will be Sketchballs doing 80s rock.
Hell yes!
So, something like that. And those are, I guess that's about as long term as I go with the band. I don't know if anybody wants to, I mean, for now, you know, that's my horizon. But I don't know if anybody else wants to say anything. But, no.
Rick's like, anyone?
Yeah, well, like, I've been the emergency backup drummer for a year and a half, so I'm just kind of along for the ride.
Wait, you're no longer the emergency drummer, you're just the drummer.
Yeah, I'm the common law drummer.
So can I ask what happened? Because it was all of a sudden like, Kip's like, I think they're really the Night Howls, but like Mike's out and Kyle's in. And I was like, what? So
No, that's not quite what happened.
So what happened? How do you come to have Nick drumming for you now?
Okay, so what happened was in 2017, the Night Howls parted ways with our bass player, and we needed somebody to play gigs, and Rick stepped in to fill in for us. So then in 2019, when Sketchballs lost their drummer, I returned the favor, and Rick ended up staying as our emergency backup bass player for like a couple of years, and then he just kind of became the guy, you know what I mean?
Right.
And it's kind of the same thing here.
I understand.
So now between the two bands, there's only 4 people.
Yeah.
And we actually did a show with Off Key at one point, so there were 3 bands and there was only 6 people in all.
That's funny. It's like only a few of you are changing spots. So, all right. This projected, you're going to be in a theater and record and talk about the album, etc., etc. The Sketchballs Live Virtual Extravaganza. Did you like that? Those who click that yes, they're going to attend that by watching receive cocaine in the mail. Just kidding, I joke. When do you guys project doing that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was gonna say when we get our shit together. We had originally projected sometime in November, and obviously that ain't gonna happen. Yeah. So we're hoping maybe within a month or two ish, end of this year, early 2021, hopefully. So.
And is the goal to play the whole album as you?
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, are you going to play the whole album, which we will hear tonight through the videos that you sent me?
Well, yes, we're going to play the whole album, which I don't believe the videos we sent are the entire album.
No, I think they're bits and pieces.
Yeah, it's bits and pieces, but we're at the virtual gig, the idea is to play Roller Derby in its entirety and then a few extra songs, and we've been knocking around the idea of maybe even throwing a cover or 2 in there.
Ooh, can I ask what the cover would be?
That's the secret.
Oh, well, a cover or 2. We've done some interesting stuff. We've done, the title is not even coming to me, of the Johnny Thunders song that we have done. Chinese Rock, thank you, Kyle, the Johnny Thunders version of that. I've also really enjoyed playing No Love Lost by Joy Division, but Nick has never played that one with us. Nick, what is it? Nick has a St. Vincent song that he was interested in possibly doing, and I was like, sure, that would be awesome too. What was that one?
Oh, Los Angeles.
And I don't exactly know how he would pull that off, but like,
the Sketchballs has done weird covers of like a very loungy, slow cover of The Trooper by Iron. So I think we could do something interesting with St. Vincent.
So, as we've all been separated from each other, the festivals that we love have been, taken right out from underneath us. Have you guys continued to try to build relationships with other bands during this time?
We are in other we are in other bands. Two of us are. And I think I'll turn this. I don't know if anybody else wants to speak to it. I mean, I'm kind of a Class A introvert when I'm left to my own devices. So I do apologize to people. I mean no offense. I mean no harm. I love you all out there, but I'm not very good at reaching out to people. It's just not a skill that I've developed, and that is my own damn fault. But Kyle is usually pretty good at those things. I don't know if there's anything you wanted to say about that. Relationships with other bands.
Yeah, I mean, those are super important, really, because if somebody comes through town and you let them play in your, help the touring bands, and a lot of the, we didn't get to play Appleton until we met the Royal Blue, and we kind of hooked them up with the Milwaukee gig. Oh, but right now
Now that there's COVID,
not a whole lot, unfortunately, because nobody's really playing. A lot of the people aren't even practicing, aren't even rehearsing right now. So.
Yeah, I know. I was speaking to somebody earlier this morning who had asked me how we were doing through the whole COVID thing, and we had been hired through Union Park over a year ago to bring the show to their actual facility, and then we got to do that, and then COVID happened, and then
we did one.
We did like a whole year, and then COVID happened, and we couldn't do it anymore. And I was asked, why aren't you promoting that? We'll still have them. I don't feel as if morally I should be hosting musical events for some sort of payout, because money can always be made. It's fake. It's arbitrary. It's a social construct. Whereas people are concrete. They have their own personality. They're irreplaceable. And so we've been fine. We've been able to do this, but we've not been putting on any shows. So.
Right. And again, it goes back to the thing. Half the people who watch your cast are going to, if you were to do it, will be angry that you were doing it, and the other half probably angry that you're not doing it.
At this point, I don't even fucking know if anybody's paying attention anymore. I mean, we have people who watch us, but, I've noticed, and maybe it's burnout, maybe we have screen fatigue. There's been a dramatic reduction. Our videos actually get watched, but as far as engagement goes, it's less. So I've actually kind of relished this year of relaxation, because I don't, and this is going to sound odd, I don't feel stressed this year as in other years. I don't feel this constant need to be up all the time. This is a more relaxed conversation. I am not having to, quote unquote, entertain people who come to my house every week. I do miss it, but it has also been a nice, relaxed
we were
change.
Doing 4 shows a week.
I know.
It was a lot.
I encourage you guys to continue on, though, and make sure that you maintain contact with some of those brother-sister bands, whatever you want to call them, that you had started to build ties with. because this won't be forever, and there are people who are doing other virtual things, I would encourage or challenge you that after you do this in the auditorium thing, to set up, or if you would want help with it, we could do a mini fest where like we just do a virtual thing where a bunch of different bands play from X number to X number, and they just play wherever they are through one event.
Yeah, that would be great. We'd be down for that for sure.
Wonderful. I mean, it keeps camaraderie and communication going so that bands can continue to have that connection. So, I know that we're reaching the top of the hour, but I want you guys to talk a little bit about what the next hour will entail, because we're going to show your videos. So what can people expect? Give us some background as to favorite songs or highlights you want to talk about from those recordings, etc.
Okay, so most of what you're going to witness is the maybe it'll go down in infamy, I don't know, but it was about 2 weeks ago on a Sunday. Kyle and Nick came over to my driveway. We propped up Kyle's iPhone and just kind of let rip. We played all of Roller Derby and 3 more songs. 8 of those recordings ended up, 8 of the 12 that recorded ended up being salvageable. The 13th didn't even record because the memory on the phone was full. Yeah, and so you're going to see the fruits of that, and it's all songs. We have Some Disguise on there, which is from our River West EP, and Swine Before Pearls, which is also from our River West EP, and the other 6 are just over half of the Roller Derby album. My personal baby out of those 6 is a song called Custom Van. I wrote that riff. It was just one of my sitting down, messing around with stuff riffs. And I was like, oh my God, this riff reminds me of just, some of my earliest, fuzziest memories of being, 1 or 2 years old. I should say 2 years older when some of those early fuzzy memories come in, which for me would have been in 1979. And just like seeing my neighbors, like my uncle and his friends rolling around in these custom vans. And I was like, that's the feel I had. I brought the song actually to Nick. I was like, hey, Nick, I got this riff at Night House. And he's like, oh, my God, this is like rolling around in a custom van. I was like, hell yes. Then Kyle wrote a set of lyrics, which I expanded upon, actually, for Custom Vet. And the whole thing is just supposed to kind of put you in the hazy meathead mindset of this, macho adolescent male in a predatory custom van, basically. So,
I'm your vehicle, baby. Take it anywhere you want to go. He's got candy and pictures. No one ever asked what fucking kind of pictures he had. Eyes of March. Sorry.
So, and Nick just picked up my Vibra Slap, and I'm so that's Custom Van right there.
I love it.
You won't. Yeah, we couldn't pull that off live, so there's the Vibra Slap for what you're going to hear on the what you'll hear on the you won't hear on the recording. But I don't know if anybody else wants to speak to any of the stuff that's gonna be on there. But I mean, I'm really proud of all of the songs that we did. Well, I should say there's a song in there called "Steal the Show," which is a tribute to the one and only Freddie Mercury. That the lyrics for that song were actually written by one of my very best friends, my very best friend in the whole world, who lives in Stockholm, Sweden. Oddly enough, I haven't seen him in the flesh in since 1991, so it's almost 30 years.
Damn.
Yeah, but I sent him a riff, and he sent me those lyrics, like the word for word, those lyrics that are in that song back. So thank you very much, Pear, for the Steal the Show song. And I don't know if anybody else wanted to say anything else about what Kyle's got his hand up here. Oh, hand up, Nick, he's handing it off. So he's okay. You get to see fabulous steampunk headgear.
Yeah. Oh yeah, 2 words. Top hat. That's all I got.
There we go. We all have hats. Kyle's amp blew up right before we recorded it.
What?
Yeah. Like it broke down, and fortunately I have it's a bass amp that is marketed as a guitar amp. It's a Fender Bassman for those who are guitar geeks. And I actually use it when I play bass with the Night Owls. Well, I should say I used it when Night Owls were able to gig. And it's always come through pretty well. So I think it came through pretty well. At least we could hear it on the garage floor pretty well.
It sounded, those videos sounded really good. Also, just you describing that, was it like going to an actual show and having the worst case things happen and you still did it?
Exactly. Yes. It had a lot of that feel to it.
It was a good practice run for when things get back to normal.
Exactly. So you will all get a taste of back to normal. This will make your world that much more normal if you stick around and watch the video.
So we're 5 minutes out of the top of the hour, and I want you guys to go ahead and pimp yourselves. So tell people where they can find you and which medium you would like people to engage with you on.
You can find music at Bandcamp, the Sketchballs at Bandcamp. If you want to engage with us, we have a Facebook page. Just message us. Those are kind of our two main sources.
YouTube.
And YouTube. YouTube is new. I'm still not even used to us using our YouTube, but yeah.
In closing, anybody have any words of wisdoms, comments, questions, concerns, ponderings, wisdom you'd like to impart?
I would just like to ask Kiff, are the scraps still rehearsing or doing anything?
We have not practiced since the first weekend of March.
Did you hear him, Kyle?
The first weekend of what?
March.
Oh, March, okay.
Yeah.
Kiff's other band has been practicing since what, July or August?
What's your other band?
No. July. Army of Cretans.
Okay. Cool.
You guys, you'll be able to in person reminisce soon. They haven't played out either, so.
No, we're not planning on playing out either.
You gotta talk up. The rules apply to you too.
I know.
I can hear.
We're not. There are no hey, we're gonna start going out and playing shows at this date. There's just no plans of that. We're just practicing, staying tight. That's all it is.
That's the most important thing, is to keep practicing.
Hi, Darcy. Well, guys, I want to thank you for joining us, and we are going to let you go so that we can get set up to do the other part of this.
Cool.
Thank
you for having us, Jess.
I'm super stoked that COVID didn't kill your band. That's not a joke. Listening to that song and the way it was recorded and having met you before and watching you play out, there has been such a maturity and progression that occurred that it's impressive to watch that evolution occur. So good job, guys.
Yeah, and I got to say that for that, a lot of that is Landon Arkin, the engineer at the studio. He's very good at passively, aggressively not letting us get away with half-assery, if that makes sense.
I'm not good at that either. I'm just mean about it. I'm like, don't half-ass shit. Do it right. So.
Yeah, he's real polite about it. He's like, I think we can do that one a little better. That was a good practice take, but let's do that again. And, so he pushes us in a good way.
Wonderful. Well, guys, we're going to get off the phone with you. It was wonderful talking to you. I hope that we can see you in person, I don't know, maybe summer of 2021.
Punk Fest 2021, maybe.
We're not even going to talk about anything Punk Fest yet. So, hang tight for those things. But, guys, I'm excited to show the world your videos, and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Stay safe and have a wonderful holiday season, whatever it is that you celebrate coming up. So,
You too.
You as well. Thanks again, Jessica. Take care.
bye, guys.
Bye.
So that was the Sketchballs. That was Kyle, Rick, and Nick. And after a short break, we're gonna show you videos that they recorded. So they did their set in 2 video sections, and we'll post that on our page for you to watch. We're also gonna post the truck stop Dolomite video that they just released. So have a wonderful evening. Check those out. And we're not on next week because it's Thanksgiving. Unless we get really messed up and are like, let's just say thank
I don't know,
you.
there's going to be a lot of family here.
Oh, goodness. We're breaking all the COVID rules. Here, I'm going to impart this upon you because you are able-bodied adults who have the ability to critically think,
I
analyze,
hope so.
and make decisions. If everyone you know hasn't been anywhere, you're all working from home, you briefly go out to the store to grab things, and mostly you're home, you're safe to hang out with. I know that sounds shitty and scary, right? But that's the truth, because the government's telling you it's okay to go to work, it's okay to shop, it's okay to be out to do those things, but don't hang around people you like. There's a whole novel called 1984. It's written about that. Don't just be a cog in the machine. Think outside the box. Assess your health, your wellness, and the situation, and make your own choice. Okay?
Thanks.
Bye.